15 years, blowing the doors off the competition. Podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com.
Now entering the PNR Networks arena, coming down the aisle from Revere, Massachusetts, weighing in at absolutely none of your business. It's the Mistress of Mayhem, the Queen of Quips. It's time for Ring Around The Rosie with your hostess, Kim Brown.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week here on Ring Around the Rosie. I am your hostess, Kim Brown, aka Platinum Rose Lady, coming to you on Saturday, the 29th of August, 2020. And if you are hearing noise in the background during this whole production, that is our fan, because it is August, it is Massachusetts, and I am not falling out of this chair from heat prostration, so the fan stays on, so deal. I hope everybody had a good week and you're all keeping safe and everybody's doing the whole mask up, wash up, don't come near anybody stuff that we have to do during wrestling in the time of COVID, as opposed to the love in the time of cholera. And I wanted to talk about the fact that I have a very special guest on my show today. Returning guest. You know him, you love him. I talk about him at least once a show, whenever I do a show. He is my puddin', my sweetums, my Imzadi, the reason that I actually get to have a show, because he's the computer genius and I'm just the cute one. My co-host for this show, TC Kirkham. Say hi to everybody, please.
Hi, everybody, please.
I have him really well trained, don't I? Before we really get going with the show, and you know that I do try on my show to be, honk honk, clown nose, goofy fun, wacky funster Kim, but, every once in a while real life comes along and kicks people straight in the junk. I would like to offer my sympathies and condolences to the family of wrestling legend Bob Armstrong, who passed away earlier this week. Bob was very well known in the southern part of the United States as a wrestler, and his family has had long roots in wrestling. His sons, Brad, Scott, the Road Dogg, Jesse James. Complete condolences and love to his family at this time. And also, not wrestling oriented, nothing to do with wrestling, but to do with the fact that I am just a geek, and a comic nerd and a comic movie nerd. We got the worst news last night. Chadwick Boseman, passed away yesterday. He was 43. 43. He had cancer. And as we've always said on this show, fuck cancer straight up the ass.
Have we always said that on this show?
I have, yeah.
Okay, I don't do this show that often.
I have, and we all know that I have a really, really, really filthy mouth.
You can hear her outside the show, folks. It's even worse.
He's not lying. But Chadwick's performance as King T'Challa of Wakanda, a.k.a. the Black Panther, was just so amazing. And we were both so impressed with the Black Panther solo film, and then his introduction into the Marvel movie universe, and all of the other films that he did. It's just Get On Up and all these other films like that. It's a huge blow to the movie industry, I think, and he I can't even process this. It's just so crazy.
He was one of the brightest stars in Hollywood right now.
Definitely, yeah.
Not just from that, but from all the other stuff he'd done, and so it was kind of a big shock when it suddenly popped up on my email last night. I'm like, holy cow, what?
Yeah, I know. It's really crazy to think about, and so condolences to his family and his friends and people that knew him. That's just complete madness. Before we get to the main topic of the show, I would also like to throw a couple of things out there. We are not going to be doing SummerSlam results because why?
We didn't watch it.
Yep, that would be why.
Despite the fact that we pay the money for the WWE Network, it just wasn't worth it because there was too much better stuff on last weekend.
Yeah, and considering the fact that
what she's asked me to come along and talk about with her.
Yeah,
so.
Considering the fact that we watched the pay-per-view the month before, the horror show pay-per-view, and that sucked Minotaur dong. Yeah. And we were just like,
Are we
no.
planning to watch Backlash tomorrow night?
I wasn't.
Okay. Just checking.
I have to wash my hair or paint my nails.
I have to file my nails. Yeah.
Do my embroidery or something. But
seriously, people, how do you even stand WWE anymore?
No, and now, well, of course, now Roman Reigns. I know some people out there are going, but Kim, Roman Reigns is back. Surely you'll be planting your butt down in the front of the TV to watch him being back.
Yeah, but he's not Roman. Oh, hey, I'm Roman Reigns, the superface. Now I'm heel Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Arrgh.
Yeah. And to all you people out there,
she's not happy.
No. I
had to listen to her bitch about it for a week. Hey, you asked me to come do the show with you this week.
I know. Well, my whole thing was last week, all these people saying that Roman was back as a heel. I'm like, how is he a heel because he beat up The Fiend? I'm sorry. You'd think with a name like The Fiend, he's supposed to be the bad guy.
He is, but he's a fan favorite for some reason.
I don't get it.
He was a fan favorite when he was Bray Wyatt, for Pete's sake. I don't understand that either.
Well, other than
not that he's a bad wrestler, but God, the characters he plays are just ridiculous.
There's that. Yeah. But this week he did align himself with Paul Heyman, so...
yeah, Paul can't do that name as well as he can do Brock Lesnar! Just doesn't have the same kind of ring to it.
Could this be the only time you do that, please?
Yes.
Yay.
You're just pissed because I can do it pretty well.
No, I'm not pissed that you can do it. I'm glad you can do it because it spares me having to do it. And I don't want to hurt my voice. Thank you. But yeah, so I am less than pleased. And when I'm not happy, stuff gets broke.
Yeah, shit hits the fan.
When mommy ain't happy, ain't nobody happy is the rule in this house. But I would like to bring up the whole thing that the WWE has started with the whole Thunderdome thing.
Yeah. Which was my idea when we talked about WrestleMania a few months ago.
It actually was. So they should be sending you a check anytime about, half past never.
Well, yeah. But it's being copycatted all over.
Yeah.
I think the reason why Vince finally took off with it is because AGT figured out how to do it and do it really well from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's it's a pretty cool concept. I mean, they went far beyond what I had suggested on your WrestleMania show. So, but it looks like it's pretty good. Except, of course, you got the smart alecks doing stupid stuff on their feeds.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. That's what I was going to talk about. I think that it's actually think it's a really cool idea. I mean, as long as we have to put up with this whole COVID, problem, catastrophe, however you want to word it.
They're doing at the basketball bubble too.
Yeah, so. That. You have this thing so, fans can be involved again, and that's really important because now that we've seen wrestling in an empty arena, I mean, we've still seen some great stuff, but at the same time, you don't have that energy from a ton of people screaming their heads off or reacting to an almost pin or whatever, or, just reacting, that energy is just not there.
That's what's made the difference the past COVID months between WWE and AEW. Mm-hmm. When AEW first hooked up the idea of bringing in the wrestlers that were there as an audience, keeping them outside, making sure things were socially distant, making sure they weren't sick, I think that's what helped them get a boost over WWE, who wasn't doing any of that until much later. Mm-hmm. They didn't really start doing it until like July, I don't think, or even June, maybe. But it was first done overall by GCW.
Yes.
With the Acid Cup. They had the other wrestlers out there cheering them on.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks after the lockdown started. Mm-hmm. And that was a great idea, and I think that's where Janela probably said to Tony Khan, why don't you do the same thing? And that's what made it work.
Yeah, and it did work, and it has
They
worked.
actually brought fans in this weekend in a socially distanced area, which so many of the indies have been doing. And so far it's worked okay.
So far it's been working really well, as long as everybody follows the rules and doesn't be a dick. Now, speaking of not being a dick, which I would think that if I'm talking to a bunch of people out there on the interwebs or however this works, I would assume that the people that I'm talking to are legally adults. I would hope so, considering the amount that I curse.
Well, I only need to be a teenager then. That's normal for teenagers, too.
Well, yeah, but we do have explicit on there.
Yeah.
So the reason I say that is because when you are an adult, you are supposed to, allegedly, be wise enough to know this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, this is a monumentally fucking stupid idea. The people who used their spot in the whole Thunderdome thing to post videos of Chris Benoit so you could get Chris Benoit on a WWE program. Guess which category you're going in. If you guessed the monumentally stupid fucking idea category, congratulations, you get a cookie.
Yeah, because it's pretty much WWE said, and it's within their right to say, you're banned from our shows for life.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
good
on you being that much of an edgelord. Now everybody knows you're a fucking prick.
Edge didn't have anything to do with that. Are you regretting inviting me yet?
Just a little. Just a smidge. So.
I fucking love you too, honey.
Oh, Puddin', you know I love you.
Honestly.
Okay. So anyway, actually, we're going to talk about the results of, some of the great shows we watched last week as opposed to SummerSlam. But we're actually going to talk right now about the main topic of the show, which actually, ironically, has a lot to do with some of those results. And that is the topic of intergender wrestling. Now,
can we discuss that on a podcast?
It's our show.
Oh, okay.
I don't see why we can't. And we're not doing it.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, goodness knows not I'd kick your ass. But,
yeah. Hey, the truth hurts, but it's true.
The whole idea of intergender wrestling, I mean, it's been around for years and years and years. The problem is that for the longest time, intergender wrestling was just would calling it a joke be
novelty?
A novelty, a joke, an insult to some of the people involved. But that, at least in the indies, is starting to change. Now, the first time I think intergender wrestling really was something that people actually looked at and went, "Wait, this is going on." You have to go way, way, way back to the late Andy Kaufman and his whole thing where he would wrestle women. And the fact that he considered himself an intergender champion, had a belt, and the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember that. I never could stand him, so I didn't really pay much attention
so
to it.
So you wanted those
then.
women to kick his ass?
I was not a wrestling fan until I met you.
Nope.
So that was 7 years prior to that. So.
I corrupted him. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's something I do very well as corrupt people. But
if they're willing to be
if they're willing to be
which I was, eventually.
Most people are.
Okay. Now she's just getting a little too scary.
I hope nobody from church hears this. Anyway, but the whole idea of a man wrestling a woman, it was done in a way that it was obvious that it made people uncomfortable. And even more than made people uncomfortable, it made people angry, which was the entire flaming point.
Which just seems so stupid and archaic now.
Well,
looking back at it, looks totally archaic.
The thing that I find so funny is the fact that Andy Kaufman, whether you liked his style of comedy or not, and I will be the first to admit that he was an acquired taste, and some people didn't acquire it, pointing backwards at
Me.
you.
Never could stand the guy.
If he had been built more as a wrestler, that guy would have been so over as a heel, it would have been ridiculous. Because he knew...
Oh, he had everything it took to be a great heel. He was great at the wrestling heel persona that he played, for those couple of years, he was, having feuds with Jerry Lawler down in, what was that, USWA at the time?
Memphis, the Memphis Pro area and stuff like that.
So, he would have made a great permanent wrestler, but you're right, he wasn't built
He wasn't built, if you could transplant his personality into somebody who had the body of an actual wrestler, it would have been amazing. Because he knew how to get the crowd, foaming at the mouth, angry at him. And part of the way to do that was this whole wrestling women thing. And it wasn't done in a sexual way. He wasn't like wrestling them in copping a feel or anything like that.
Because it was honest to goodness wrestling.
Because I think they probably would have burned the building down if that had happened. But yeah, he was honestly wrestling them. And he was honestly wrestling women wrestlers who could have probably conceivably
kicked his butt.
Kicked his ass several times over and twice on Sunday. But, it was what it was. And for a long time, that was all anybody knew of intergender wrestling. Whenever you brought it up, people would go, oh, you mean that Andy Kaufman stuff? And that was it. As time went on and more women were involved in wrestling and wrestling became a larger, with the advent of cable and you had more places being able to show wrestling that, you could see wrestling from Texas, from Hawaii, from the West Coast and all these other places for a while. And you could see more women being involved as valets and things like that for the most part. You very rarely had intergender matches, though. You usually had the heel wrestler had a female valet. The female valet would do something to try and help her wrestler, and then she would get in
or deafen the other wrestler in case of Sherry.
Yeah. Yeah, although Sherry could legit have kicked somebody's ass if she wanted to.
Man, that scream of hers was something else.
Yeah, boy, she
could...
It
was like canary cry.
Woo! She could shatter glass with that voice. We miss you, Sherry. We really do. We mean no disrespect, but your voice should have been registered as a deadly weapon when you wanted it to be. Wow. But, you had the whole thing where she would get in the guy's face. The heel valet would get the baby face's face and be all like, blah, 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 trash talk, slap. Usually it was a slap. And sometimes he would grab her and then it would be all like, oh, well, you can't hit me because I'm a girl, And that used to make me insane. That used to make me absolutely mental because my attitude has always been, maybe this is because I grew up post-sexual revolution, I don't really know, is the idea that if you hit somebody, unless you hit them hard enough to knock you out, then you should expect to get hit back, whether or not you're a woman or a man. If you're gonna dance, you better be ready to pay the band. And if you get in there and you hit somebody, and then all of a sudden after you hit them, then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, you can't hit me because I have a vajayjay. Screw you!
Just in case you guys can hear that, don't pay any attention. That's the mad vacuumer that lives upstairs.
The lady upstairs vacuuming. But in the later years, we actually had people that would get in the ring with you had female wrestlers that would get in the ring with male wrestlers, and they wouldn't be like, oh, you can't hit me and stuff like that. And these weren't valets. These were actual wrestlers, people like the late Joni Laurer.
Yeah, Chyna was the first really big intergender person, I think, to really make a big mark because she was the first one large enough to run with the big boys.
Right. See, that was the thing. People didn't have a problem with somebody like Chyna in the ring wrestling men. At least I didn't hear about anybody having a problem with it because she was, for the most part, as big and sometimes bigger than some of the guys she was fighting.
Yep.
And also, for the most part, she didn't go into the whole, oh, you can't, I can hit you, but you can't hit me because...
she was always a badass.
Yeah, that you can't hit me because I'm a girl. That shit went right out the window with her. And I was like, oh, fucking finally. Because, I'm sorry, like I said, I cannot deal with that. You can't hit somebody and then be like, you can't hit me back because I have a uterus. That's stupid. Women have been fighting for equal rights for, how long did it take women to get the right to vote and do all the other things that women have done? And we still don't.
The Equal Rights Amendment was never passed.
No, and we still don't get paid as much as men.
So,
but the simple fact is, you have all these women that are always screaming equal rights, equal rights, equal rights, but when a woman puts herself in a situation where she could get popped in the mouth because she put herself in that situation, now we're supposed to be like, oh, you can't hit her, she's a delicate flower. Now, I am only talking about wrestling here. I am talking about wrestling storylines and stuff like that. I am not advocating domestic abuse. So before anybody starts...
I think they know that. Huh?
Well, you have to be very careful because you get one person whose hair gets out of place and, we're off to the races, and I don't want to deal with that.
Is that why they have do not use internally on KY?
Yeah. That's why it says do not eat on preparation H, tubes, because somebody did it, So there are just people out there, and it's also just the fact that it's 2020 and everybody's looking for a reason to get offended. Like that, am I wrong about that?
100% right.
But now you have this entirely different generation of wrestlers, male and female, who don't have this ridiculous hang-up. And I think that time, the fact that time has actually come, I am so friggin' relieved.
Yeah.
I really and truly am. Because the thing that really was a big problem with intergender wrestling I would still say in the early 2000s, is the fact that you have this perceived attitude in the audience and maybe in the back. I don't even know about in the back. I would never speculate about that, but I can tell from an audience standpoint that if you had a man and a woman in the ring, as far as the male wrestler is concerned, he can't win either way. If he pins a woman, you're going to have people in the audience, or you had people in the audience, that would be like, oh, well, big deal, he beat a woman. If the woman beat him, you'd have some people being like, oh, his career's over, he got pinned by a woman.
Oh, horrors.
Never mind that she might be, a better athlete, or she just, or whatever. The fact that now we have a generation where we have wrestlers that are going in there, and it's not, she's a woman wrestler, he's a male wrestler. This sounds like the plot of an ABC comedy. But that, you have these two athletes that are getting in the ring, and they're giving it all, and they're putting their heart and soul and everything out there, and they're working their asses off to entertain the crowd. And it's not the fact that they're, one's a male and one's a female, or however you identify, that doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter.
Nope.
It absolutely shouldn't matter. I mean, how do you feel? I'm rabbiting on here. I
don't know.
You don't know how you feel?
I'll tell you something.
Speaking as a guy,
since we've been we got a new TV this year that allowed us to get back onto Roku.
Yay!
We've signed up for a lot of these different sites and stuff. Mm-hmm. We're seeing better wrestling on IWTV and on Fight TV.
Oh yeah,
and on some of the other ones than we have seen in ages on cable.
Yep.
AEW accepted. There's the nice thing about it is that it's all the indies have been doing intergender wrestling this whole time. Mm-hmm. We've been seeing a lot of intergender wrestling.
It's hard to say.
Intergender wrestling. We've been seeing a lot of the intergender wrestling, and it's often some of the best matches on the card.
Oh yeah.
We've seen it, Power Pro did several of them. Mm-hmm. IWTV runs all of these, or most of them, and some of them are on Fight TV, but Power Pro, Game Changer, Black Label Pro especially, they've got 2 or 3 usually a show, mm-hmm. and St. Louis Anarchy had a couple when we were watching a couple weeks ago.
So,
and they're all good. I mean, they don't seem to be phased.
Speaking as a guy, when speaking as a guy watching this kind of stuff, do you find it uncomfortable? Do you find it?
No.
You don't find it emasculating.
No.
You don't find it unbelievable.
You look at. I know we're not going to bring it up right now. I'm not going to say winner. You look at last weekend's main event at Black Label Pro between Blake Christian, who is just one of the best fucking wrestlers ever.
Thank you.
And Kylie Ray, one of the best fucking wrestlers ever.
Again.
That match was insane.
Yep.
A match of the year candidate.
Yep. The thing that cracks me up so badly about wrestling fans in general is the fact that you have some fans whose whole thing, their biggest bias against women wrestling men, their biggest bias that they're willing to admit out loud, besides the undercurrent, the subconscious, oh, a woman can beat a man, oh my gosh, is the fact that you have some of these fans, it's not believable.
Yes, it is, now.
It's not believable. In pro wrestling.
It wasn't, okay. You've opened this can of worms. Okay?
Oh, goody. Yay.
So I got to go there, even
go
though
for
it's
it.
not exactly what we're talking about.
We're doing this cold, so we don't know what either is going to say.
There's a level of believability that's factors is fine, and then there's a level of believability as in you need to do suspension of disbelief to get past it.
Right.
Most of the intergender matches have nothing to do with suspension of disbelief because the women athletes today, especially today, are just as capable and just as well trained as the male athletes.
Yep.
The suspension of disbelief is not like, oh, it's not believable. Mm-hmm. No, not believable, and please don't take me wrong because I love the guy. Not believable is Marco Stunt versus Jake Hager. What the fuck were they thinking when they booked that match for Dark this week? I'm sorry. I know that there's nobody that's really anywhere near Marco's size in AEW, and he's a terrific athlete and a terrific wrestler, and I love the guy. But that whole thing, it didn't do anything for me because it didn't give Marco any kind of a buzz. If he'd gotten some buzz from some comedy, that's one thing. I like that. Like, he did get some buzz out of some sort of comic stuff when he went up against Lance Archer a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which was also a rout.
Oh, yeah.
But there was none of that. Hager was getting all the benefit on that match, and it pissed me off. That's where it becomes suspension of disbelief. Because, let's face it, in a real-world situation, when Jake Hager gets done with Marco Stunt, I'll be a pallbearer.
I didn't know you were changing your name. But,
I'm not changing my name, Kim!
That was actually pretty good. That was nice. I like that.
Love you, Percy.
Yeah, miss you, Percy. But, no, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. I mean, other than the fact that everybody loves an underdog story.
Yeah, Marco,
I mean, we would love a more believable underdog story.
Marco and Logan. Logan Stunt, his brother, had a phenomenal match at GCW Backyard Wrestling 2 against Kyle the Beast, KTB.
Yep.
That just put everything else to shame on that show.
Yeah.
And Kyle's 7 or 8 inches taller than Logan.
Kyle is terrifying.
It was a great match.
It was.
Because that was a backyard wrestling match. Both of them were getting bumped from it.
Yeah.
Logan had some great spots.
Oh,
The thing with Marco and Jake Hager didn't work that way.
All that, the match with Marco and Hager, besides the fact that it pushes forward it actually did more than I would disagree with you slightly. I think it pushed forward 2 separate storylines.
Oh, it did push forward the fact that Marco will go against anybody, regardless of size.
Number one, that's the first. Yes, that's the thing that got pushed forward is the fact that Marco is completely fearless.
Mm-hmm. He is,
which is fine. May the odds ever be in your favor. And it also pushed forward the storyline that Jake Hager is a bully.
Yeah.
And so it pushed Marco further as a babyface and Jake Hager further as a heel. So that I don't have a problem with. And like I said, I mean, everybody loves a good underdog story. I mean, going all the way back, look at the 1-2-3 Kid against Razor Ramon back in the day. That was an underdog story. No, I'm not trying to push. I'm not trying to push a button. I'm honestly not. That was the first underdog thing I can think of where the underdog didn't get smeared.
Yeah.
You know,
that match is hilarious.
Because when you do see that, when it does happen that the underdog doesn't get smeared and wins, then you're like, you know, it's like the whole, you know, it's like the U.S. beating the Soviets at the Olympics back in the 80s.
I do need to correct you on one thing, though.
Yeah.
At the time, he wasn't the 1-2-3 Kid. He was just the Kid and occasionally the Lightning Kid.
Or the Cannonball
That was
Kid
what earned him the 1-2-3 Kid moniker.
Very true. I should have known better I should have known better than to do that with him. But my point is, and getting back to the whole lack of
whole underdog thing again.
Yeah, the whole lack of believability thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there is any in today's intergender.
Oh my gosh! It's not just in the intergender, but it drives me insane when people talk about like, oh well, that wasn't believable. This lacked believability. If you want believability, go watch UFC. Go watch a boxing match.
Yeah, wrestling is, well, no, I understand where they're coming from because you have to be able to believe it to some extent.
You have to believe that these people are out there giving it all and they're great athletes and they really know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You definitely have to believe that.
Believability doesn't come into it, though.
But are you supposed
in most of the indie stuff?
But my point about
maybe.
Well, my point about believability. Does anybody really believe the people from Bear Country are actual werebears or whatever they're supposed to be? Does the fact that people are always like, you know, oh well, this guy's playing a mental patient.
Did you explain that?
Bear Country is a couple of professional wrestlers who are very large and frightening. So
usually associated with Beyond Wrestling.
Yes, they're very good. They're very large, and they look
they
like
beat the crap out of Marco and Logan.
They're
freaking hilarious.
They are not people that I would want to meet in a dark alley or a lit stadium. I'll tell you that right now. But they wear this gear that looks like they skinned a bear. Yeah. I mean, does anybody really think they did that? I hope they didn't because
Sammy isn't wearing that panda thing anymore.
Because PETA, but I know, yes, Sammy Guevara, the Panda Thriller. It's like that came out wrong.
You can't be a Spanish god wearing a panda because panda and Spanish god don't go together.
Sorry, every time he uses that Spanish god thing, all I could think of is that line, "Ma'am, there's only one God, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that."
I know.
Captain America from the Avengers. I'm a nerd. Anyway, but my whole thing is, you guys do realize that the person who's been one of the most popular wrestlers for the last, 25 plus years is allegedly an undead zombie that can shoot lightning out of his hands.
Except for that 4-year period where he was a biker.
Yeah. So let's talk about believability in pro wrestling. Kiss my lily white. Never mind.
Yeah, but you love him too.
And I do love Taker. I'm not saying I don't.
You should hear her lose her shit when he comes on screen with his whole persona.
I'm a woman. I have needs. She
literally sits there and shakes.
Hey. Woman needs, don't judge.
Who's judging? I'm just giving all the juicy details.
Yes, you are. But I just crack up when people talk about how my whole thing is that people talk about wrestling like it has this ironclad book of stuff that was brought down from the mount, like Moses with the 10 Commandments.
And yay.
And lo, the burning turnbuckle said that blah blah blah. Oh, I really hope nobody from church is listening to this. But my whole thing is that people who are like, this doesn't belong in wrestling, and to which I say, why? I'm not saying that everything has to be exactly the same, and I'm not saying that if you have an entire show full of comedy matches that people won't be a little bit like, unless you go to that show knowing that it's a fed that specializes in comedy matches, and then you're going to be like, cool.
That's what Shakara was, yeah.
Right. But my thing has always been that there's a place in wrestling for, strong style, flippy shit, hardcore, comedy spots, intergender wrestling, and anything else, as long as the people who are in the ring are trained, know what they're doing, are careful with the person that they're in the ring with, so nobody really gets hurt, barring, an act of God or an accident or whatever, and as long as they're in there to entertain the audience and keep each other safe, then I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with any of it.
Can I do it then?
Go for it.
Now, that's just crazy right here. Everybody knows that flippy shit ain't gonna go nowhere. It ain't gonna do nothing. All they're gonna do is look stupid out there in the ring. And the same goes for all that other stuff and all this intergender crap. I mean, I just like me and my wife getting in there, getting it on.
All right.
What the hell?
Okay, that's enough. That's we don't want to get people sick on us. We're only a tiny little podcast. Although we would like some more listeners if you're out there. But Jim Cornette, who's impersonating...
Hey, I didn't bring up his name.
I didn't bring up his name either.
I know you just did.
Well, no, but yes, but anybody who has two working ears, or even just one, would know who you were imitating.
Yes, I know, which means the name didn't need to be said, did it?
Fuck. You ran rings around me logically. But the thing is, everyone had... See, that's the nice thing. They know that everyone does have the right to their opinion, even if it's wrong. I mean, it can't be... No, you know what? It's not that
it's not necessarily wrong. It might just disagree with you.
It might just suck,
And it might disagree with you.
And I have a right to say, hey, I think your opinion sucks. And that person has a right to keep having that opinion if they want to. That's just the way that it works, And hopefully that's the way it'll keep working once the election happens, and that's going to be my one for this show. So I think we pretty much both are of the same opinion that intergender wrestling, as long as everybody knows, as long as everybody's safe, keeps each other safe, I have absolutely zip problems with it.
Some of the best wrestling matches we've seen in the last 6 months have been intergender challenges.
Absolutely.
And they're terrific. Like I said, I wasn't kidding when I tweeted after we saw that match. That Blake Christian Kylie Ray match should be a candidate for match of the year this year. That was insane.
It was.
Almost 40 minutes long. And the stuff that they did was incredible.
Yeah.
We're both huge fans of so many of these younger wrestlers that are involved with Game Changer a lot, but also Black Label Pro and some of the others, like Blake Christian, like Alex Zane, like Jordan Oliver, like Kylie Ray, that are just terrific, and it doesn't matter whether they're male or female. And the fact that they go against each other is awesome because they don't really need to have that gender barrier anymore.
Or whatever people identify as. We're trying to be We're trying to be inclusive here for everybody. Sometimes it's hard to remember all this stuff, but we're basically, our attitude, yours and mine, I think it would be fair to basically say, as long as you're in there and you're given 100%, I don't care.
Yeah.
You can identify as a fern if you want to. I don't care. It's like, just be you.
Well, even that's disappearing from wrestling.
Ferns?
No. Let's face it, wrestling has always had a portion of the audience that are strictly, oh, ew, What do you mean he's gay? What do you mean she's a lesbian?
Right.
What? No way.
Yeah.
I dare anybody to say that to Effie's face.
Yeah. I'd love to see them say that to Effie's face so he could knock their teeth out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Because homophobia doesn't belong anywhere.
Nope.
Homophobia is hate, and hate sucks.
Yeah.
And doesn't suck in a good way.
And the same thing has happened with Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
So it's like, so she's transgender. Who cares? She's a freaking awesome wrestler.
Yeah.
Don't give her any shit.
She's a freaking awesome person. She's a person.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Give people respect.
Yeah.
You know,
all the way around.
It's like, really, I mean, you and I talk about stuff, not just wrestling, but just stuff in general. And I get accused, out of the two of us, he's the more rational person and is the more person that can step back and look at things in a logical way. And I'm just like earthy, crunchy hippie, you know.
Are you talking about me?
Compared to me,
but not where wrestling's concerned.
But I'm talking about like other stuff.
I always have certain irrationalities where certain wrestlers are concerned.
That is true. But I'm just talking about just in general with life and stuff.
Okay,
You're
fair
the
enough.
person that's more analytical, and I'm all like duckies and bunnies and unicorns, you know. But my whole thing is people on average are on this planet for what, 75 years?
Yeah, something
like that. To spend that amount of time being pissed off at other people because of the color of their skin, who they sleep with, who they worship, and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, that's stupid.
It is. We've got to get beyond that.
It's 2020.
That's what the Black Lives Matter movement is about.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to get beyond this shit, people.
It's 2020.
One
and
human
this
family is where we need to be.
It's and this shit is still going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just, but we have to have hope. And hope is part of the reason that we're going to talk about the stuff we're going to talk about next, which is the shows that we did watch, because that stuff gives me hope.
Last weekend
that wrestling is going to keep going forward.
Last weekend was Summerslam weekend, and it was awesome, and we didn't even watch Summerslam.
Yeah, it was awesome because we didn't watch Summerslam.
It was awesome because we didn't watch Summerslam, yeah.
So we're gonna talk about the first show of the day was the 22nd of August, was the Black Label Pro Wrestling Eric Stevens Presents Professional Wrestling show,
which we were a proud sponsor of.
Yes, we were. From the RDS Gym in Crown Point, Indiana, which I'm sure is a lovely place. I've actually been to Indiana, but I don't know if we were near Crown Point.
No, you probably weren't. Crown Point's about 30 miles south of the Chicago city line on the Indiana side.
Yeah, we were near Indianapolis, so I don't...
it's further up than that.
The other way, yeah. So starting the show off was Kevin Koo and Dominic Guarini, the team of Violence is Forever. But I'm sorry, that name just... Violence is Forever. De Beers. No, that's Diamonds Are Forever.
Violence is forever. Gets right out of the James Bond film.
I know, that was very nice. Was that Shirley Bassey?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Going against Alex Zane and Blake Christian.
There's a pair I wouldn't want to mess with.
There's a pair I would want to mess with.
Holy shit.
With Violence is Forever getting the win. This is going to be kind of down and dirty results, guys. You know how I do things on this show. AJ Gray defeating Eric Royal for the IWTV Independent Wrestling title. The champion Warhorse, woohoo! Going against a very good professional wrestler. And no, that's not. That's
Here for a second. A very good professional.
Yes, that's not a description. That's his actual name.
As in, rip off.
No, well, he was known by it was Dasher Harwood was the name he was known by previously, but Anthony Henry going against Benjamin Carter again.
Ben Carter has got a huge future in this business.
Oh, I know.
We saw him for the first time last month at the BLP or GCW show. Mm-hmm. My God, he can wrestle rings around everybody in that ring practically. He is something else.
If Marvel doesn't snap him up to play long shot, make it happen, movie people. Yes, I'm going to keep pushing this. Sorry, he looks like he could play a really awesome long shot. Isaiah Velasquez going against Alex Shelley. Which was
nice to see Alex.
Oh, it was awesome to see Alex.
We didn't see the Impact anniversary thing, though.
No.
I hoped to see it, and we didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, with the reunion of the Motor City Machine Guns with him and Chris Sabin.
It was nice to see Alex in the ring. He's still terrific.
He looked great. He looked terrific. The hair was a little bit like, we've got half our head shaved.
That's not a new look for him, though.
That's so brave. Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler, I have to say that. No, I skipped one, I'm sorry. Josh Alexander, beat Lee Moriarty. Filthy Tom Lawler, and yes, I'm sorry, I'm still sticking with that. Sounds like an 18th century highwayman.
Go ahead.
Filthy Tom Lawler, he rides through the night on a big horse, something. I don't know. I don't write ballads. Shut up. I'm sorry. It just reminds me of that whole Dennis Moore thing from the Monty Python skit that I know some people just went, what? Go look it up on YouTube.
Or think back to Robin Hood Daffy. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When it defeated Bastard Cassidy, which is spelled BSTRD, because we can't afford vowels? I don't know what's up with that. I just buy the man some vowels, please. I feel like I should be doing that with Sarah McLachlan playing like sad music in the background. I am such
That's your answer to everything,
well,
isn't it?
it tends to get people to buy, like to chip in for stuff. I'm sorry, that was cynical as all get out. I'm sorry. For the Black Label Pro heavyweight title, Calvin Tankman defeated Eric Stevens to win the belt, and then lost it about 4 minutes later to Jake Something, who came out and cashed his equivalent of a Money in the Bank contract and defeated Calvin Tankman, and that was
scumbag.
That was exceedingly
Jake Scumbag. That's what I'm going to call him from now on.
Exceedingly dishonorable, sir. You are a dastard and a poltroon. So that brings us to the evening show, which was
dastard and a poltroon.
I read it in a book once.
Okay.
I was like, I got to use that somewhere. So following that, we had BLP. We're back. A wrestler's story. Oh, wow. So that's obscure animated movie reference number 1.
Well, they always reference something on their titles.
I guess so. So does that mean at some point we're going to get BLP, the Brave Little Wrestler? Or
I'm
something?
not so sure they haven't done that already, but we should look.
Yeah. I just want to see
something about Terry. When
Barry Windham was
about Barry, right?
Yeah.
When Barry Windham was there, it's just ridiculous.
So they definitely need to do like BLP heavy metal or something like that.
Yeah.
As long as somebody comes out dressed like Tarna, and I really don't have a problem with that either. That movie is really messed up.
I gotta say, they did a great job considering normal lead announcer Jay Prazak had to call in sick because he got the flu or something.
Yeah.
He's usually there. We had a great team on even though he was not there. So.
Yeah. Also, I would like to say that because of this is an indoor show and they can only let a certain number of fans in, and I want to give a big, enormous shout out to everybody involved in Black Label Pro. They had people cleaning the ring in between matches. Yep. Everybody was masked up. Everybody was social distancing.
The one big complaint I have about Black Label Pro, turn the announcer's mic up.
It's hard to hear.
Because the home audience can't hear him.
Yeah.
It's like, one fall. That's all we hear.
Yeah, it is. Turn the mic up,
Turn the mic
guys.
up so the audience can hear it. The home audience can hear it. Or connect it to your feed or whatever you need to do.
But I just wanted to say, like, real serious kudos to everybody for, doing their best to keep everybody safe. And that includes the fans. So, everybody, good on you. Everybody's aces out there. Mm-hmm. We started things off, and again, we're at the RDS gym in Crown Point, Indiana. Joshua Bishop going against Gary J in a no disqualification match. This was ugly. And by ugly, I mean awesome. Usually when I say something's ugly, it's like, this is so much violence, I really shouldn't be enjoying it. Spoiler alert, I totally am. Because I might have a slight sadistic streak, just very slight, very small, and stop rolling your eyes back there.
Very small, almost invisible.
Yeah, I can feel you rolling your eyes. I can actually literally feel you rolling your eyes behind me. Joshua Bishop won that. Trey Miguel going against Trey Lamar. We did so many jokes during that.
The Dos Trays.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for those of you who do not watch Eurovision, consider yourselves fortunate because...
Oh yeah, Uno.
Yeah.
Little Big's big song from the studio.
Because
Uno.
one of us...
You couldn't use that because they don't use the word...
They don't use the word trace.
They use Uno, Dos, Cuatro.
Yeah, I know.
They do say trace later, but
later
not
in the
same
song,
thing,
yeah. Yeah, for those of you who don't have someone in your house as addicted to Eurovision...
That's me.
Yeah. Consider yourselves lucky. No, No, I'm being unfair.
I'm a music fan. I can't help it.
I know, and
I have a great
Eurovision's-
music site called the Kirkham Report at KirkhamReport.com, and I have videos over there at TKR Video Central.
Yeah, seriously. Actually, not for nothing. Any indie wrestlers out there that are looking for an entrance theme, go check out Netta's song "Toy." Because I'm sorry, I think that would be
over
awesome.
for a woman. It is over for a guy.
I think it'd be awesome I think that would really kick ass. So any female wrestlers out there that want to use a theme song, go check out Netta's Toy. I think that'd be really great. Trey Miguel wound up winning that match. Next was, next was the four-way match, between Cabana Man Dan. I gotta say, Dan, loving the hair. I noticed that your hair is a little longer there, buddy. I'm not sure if that's from, lack of getting to the barber because of COVID and you didn't want to try and cut your own hair. Good idea. That never works out well. But, seriously, loving the longer hair on you, bro. It looks fantastic. Colin Delaney and Jake Manning and Dan the Dad. Oh my gosh.
This was one of the most terrifying matches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The whole tent and the whole short
Yeah,
thing.
and this was one of the most terrifying matches we've both seen. And we've been to the ECW arena. So,
yeah.
And I was in Revere the night of the mass transit incident, so I know from scary matches. But, oh my gosh, this was...
It was scary in a funny way, not scary in a terrifying way.
No, but I did not need to see a man wearing a Scoutmaster's uniform with shorts that short.
How's that old song go? Who wears short shorts?
Yeah.
He wears short shorts.
Yeah.
Oh, my
I am
Lord,
seriously thinking about joining a convent right now. And also, Dan the Dad...
Every little thing was showing.
Shut up. And Dan the Dad, whose entrance music... Wait for it. Dan the Dad, whose entrance music, and I'm going to get this out, even though my teeth are gritting, is... He uses Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas.
She's not happy.
Oh, I was not
blew a gasket.
I think I blew every gasket I have.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, in case you don't know, and I can't believe you don't know if you've been listening to this show for a year or so, Kim is like the hostess of Platinum Rose's Garden, the supernatural podcast.
Yes.
She is not happy.
Yeah, Kim is a supernatural.
would kick his butt.
Kim is a supernatural fan, so Carry On Wayward Son is very, very important to supernatural fans. So we might.
So that means we don't want to hear Tori Amos do a cover of it, like she did "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
I'm going to bite you in a minute, and not in a fun way. Yeah. So this, you saw the look on my face. How would you describe it?
Apoplectic?
That would be good. It was kind of I went through all the stages.
Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Apoplectic, sorry.
I think I went through all the stages of mourning. It was like denial, grief, anger, blinding rage.
In 30 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dan the Dad wound up winning that match, and I don't think he ever put his coffee cup down, which is impressive. And when you have a match in the middle of the ring where a tent gets pitched, not that kind of tent. God love you.
It was funny as
God
hell.
love you, Black Label Pro.
It was funny as hell.
That's all I got to say. God love you, Black Label Pro. For the Black Label Pro tag team belts, the champions, which were Danhausen and Ethan Page, went up against the besties in the world, Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett. I didn't think that Danhausen could be more classically intimidating until Danhausen came out in a flower crown. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I didn't think anything could be more horrible, and then out comes Danhausen in a flower crown. I stand chastened and rebuked. This was actually a title change as well, with the besties actually winning, which, yeah, I know, because Danhausen and Ethan Page are awesome. So
just a couple of best friends ripoffs.
Yeah, really. Following that was one of our favorite wrestlers. I absolutely, Effie.
I love Effie. Effie's awesome.
Taking on Gangrel, which, I'm sorry, I don't know what he's done to himself recently, but Gangrel looked amazing.
Effie did a promo that ran before the show about knowing that Gangrel was really a vampire and he wanted to be turned.
Yeah.
So that got to be really kind of weird. It was hilarious in its own way.
Yeah, it was.
But it was great.
Because he kept wanting Gangrel to bite him and suck him. I'm like, it's not that kind of show. It could be, but it all turned out to be a big mind screw because he winds up beating him with a small package. I was like, yeah, that's Effie for you. That's oh, that Effie. The next match was for the Black Label Pro Heavyweight title with Jake Something, who we now both can't stand, going against Chris Masters, and that was a complete Chris Masters. I didn't realize Chris Masters. We knew he was going to be there. It was announced a couple weeks earlier. Yeah.
But I didn't even know he was still wrestling.
I didn't either. I think he
looked fantastic.
He looked amazing, and it was awesome to see him again. He
never really hit the top of the mark the way he could have in WWE. They really didn't know quite what to do with him.
No, the WWE misused somebody.
Aha! You can't say that. You're not a wrestler. You don't work backstage.
Oh, I think
I can't do Al Snow's voice, sorry.
I think we just... Oh. Okay, so we can scratch off 2 people that are never, ever going to be on this show.
Sure they are. They're wrestlers. They go back and forth from Fed to Fed all the time. It's never personal.
No, I mean getting them to... No, I don't want one of those people on my show. I wouldn't mind talking to Al. Following
What do you mean you don't want me on your show? What are you talking about, bitch? I can be a great guest on your show.
All right. Okay. Why did I want to have you as a guest on my show again? Why did I do that? Oh my gosh. Something didn't fire right in my brain. Billy Starks won in their match against Elena Black. Following that was Levi Everett, who is apparently Amish.
I love Levi. I think he's one of the most entertaining wrestlers on the indie scene.
Yeah. With his butter churn.
Basically kind of doing like if he was Amish Roadkill's kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that would make sense. I mean,
but
Amish
he's really
people
good
have,
at it. He's good at he's a great wrestler, and he's really good at what he does.
Although I do have to ask one question. He comes out to the ring and he's wearing the Amish, sorry, the garb, the hat, and the shirt with the buttons and all that, and the beard and all that, and he brings a butter churn with him. Now, when I say a butter churn, I mean a butter churn that's about, I don't know, maybe about...
It's probably a planter that looks like a butter churn.
Well, my whole thing is, I'm like, I didn't think they made them that small.
No.
That could have been you. Oh, every once in a while, I really wish my mouth came with a rewind button. But
I can arrange for duct tape.
It's not that kind of show either.
Oh, okay.
But seriously, I'm looking at that going, I don't think you're going to get much butter out of that.
No.
But he went against Big Beef, who is, and we'll just leave it there.
Wasn't that the name of the main sandwich at Jack in the Box for a while? Big Beef?
I've no idea. I've never been to a Jack in the Box.
No, I know. I've only been there a couple of times when I lived on the West Coast.
I don't think they even have them in the East Coast.
No, they're a West Coast chain, but it's like...
Yeah.
My point is, whatever fast food had them, they weren't very good there either.
With Beef going over Levi, unfortunately, and then he was out there with
they can go, beef, 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 beef.
Yeah, that's going to cause a turn to veganism like nothing else will. And the final match of the evening, which I'm convinced is the match of the year. I think we both think so.
Oh, God, yeah. There's nothing that's going to come close to this.
For the Black Label Pro, I'm sorry, I had a complete blank out for a second. I don't know why. I was thinking of something else for a minute. Black Label Pro Midwest title, because I can read, with the champion Kylie Ray, who is awesome, going against Blake Christian, who is equally awesome. So there's so much awesome in the ring. I don't know how the ring did not explode, because it was just that much incredibleness.
I don't know how they get that good at their ages, either. Blake Christian's 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie's, I think, 26. She's not much older than him.
No.
And these guys are that much at the top of their game, this young. They got a career that's going to last 2-3 decades at this point.
If we're all very lucky.
The bigger wrestlers and the bigger feds who really hit their stride in their mid-30s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And some of them don't hit their stride like Sean Spears, who keeps getting stuck in the backwash at AEW.
Right.
But
this match was just completely off the hook.
Yeah.
It was complete. One of those matches where you're just like, there's only 2 people in the ring, but they're going so fast, you're like, slow down!
That match would definitely get a golden buzzer from me if it was on AGT.
Yeah, definitely. Kylie Ray won that match and retains her Midwest title belt, but it was just an amazing match. And for anybody who would be like, oh, a man and a woman can't have a match in the ring where it's not a comedy match, I think we pretty much talked about that earlier. Screw you.
The best thing about that match was
come into this year.
Blake Christian got on the mic and he says, oh, you know something? Everybody's going to say that I lost to a woman. I didn't lose to a woman. I lost to a fucking great wrestler.
Amen.
And that's the truth.
Yep.
I mean, they were just terrific.
Very, very classy thing for Blake to say. And we just love Kylie. We love Kylie. We admit it.
She should have brought Pika Dude with her.
We love Blake, too. But anybody who comes out to the ring and their entrance theme is the music from Pokemon, I mean, come on. How can you not love that? You have to have something wrong with your soul if you don't love that.
The thing is, I don't know how much longer she's going to be able to do the Indies because she signed to Impact, so I don't know what's going on there. So.
Well, hopefully that they'll still allow her to
honor
any commitments that she's, still has or whatever.
Yeah. And that's just one day, folks.
Yeah, that's one day. We watched
another 2
both
shows
of those
from Sunday that we watched. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on to Sunday, we started things off with Beyond Wrestling, which is based out of Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Woo!
Bridgewater, Mass, or Bridgewater, Connecticut?
Bridgewater, Mass.
Oh, okay.
That's what I read. Yeah. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten to see them because our car died a long time ago. We never got another one, so we can't
haven't even made it over to Melrose because the one they had over in Melrose most recently that we were going to try to get to happened 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after. It was scheduled. I don't know if they ended up holding it. I think they canceled it after the COVID outbreak. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know if it happened.
I don't think they actually had it, which would have been too bad because we could have got there.
I know. Yeah, that sucked. So the Beyond show for Beyond Wear Sunscreen. Okay.
The weirdest thing about Beyond Wrestling, we have been fans of Massachusetts-based wrestling for 20 plus years. Me and going on 30 years, and more than that for her.
Yep.
I have never seen Rich Palladino in anything other than a tux when he's doing his ring.
No, he was like, he
had a t-shirt and jeans on.
Yeah,
to the show. It's like, whoa,
casual Sunday,
very casual, Rich. Not like you.
Casual Sunday for Rich, I guess. I was like, hey, that's good for you, man. And we love Rich anyway.
We love Rich. He's a great one of the best ring announcers around,
and he's a super cool, nice guy.
He is.
So this was
anybody who could reid that napkin full of crap from Orange Cassidy with a straight face. It's
like, that was my God. Great. Oh my gosh. That was I was in pain. I was laughing at that so hard. I don't know if anybody actually remembers this song. I mean, everybody actually, it's not really a song. I suppose that's not really the right word for it. You remember the title of this thing. Everybody's free to wear sunscreen.
Everybody's free to wear sunscreen.
Who did that?
Buzz Luhrmann was the name on the record, but it was actually taken from a movie or a public affairs thing, and then just had the beat put behind it.
Yeah. It was this long spoken word, rambling.
It was a top 20 hit in 1999.
Stream of consciousness thing that everybody played at their graduations because they thought they were being deep.
And edgy.
Ooh. Yeah. This show was at the Garden Pier in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Which is one of the best locations for...
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Because they were there last month. Game Changer and Beyond were there last month, too. Mm-hmm. It's just awesome.
Although
it is a weather permitting.
Yeah.
And they did get rained on a couple of times.
Yeah, last weekend was a little bit... The weather up here on the East Coast was a little bit iffy.
Worse this weekend.
Oh, yeah. So we were kind of like, oh man, we hope this happens and they don't get rained out or rained on. And that kind of actually sort of happened a few times. It is, though. It's a beautiful place to do a show.
They're right down by one of the big casino hotels, which is right behind them. One looks like the Hancock Building.
Yeah, and you can see the beach and the water right behind them. And I have a drinking game all set up, but For those of you who drink, I don't. So anyway, going forward with the results from that. This was the afternoon show. Willow Nightingale. This is another show. This was all...
Every match on this show was intergender.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
Willow Nightingale, who is one of my new favorite wrestlers because that name just kicks ass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Willow Nightingale, there's an actress named Moon Bloodgood, and I thought she had the coolest name in the universe. I was wrong because Willow Nightingale is even cooler. Going against Max Caster, who is, oh my gosh, so wicked annoying. And winning over him, and also winning over him and the other people that he had with him, which was just a very good thing as far as I'm concerned. Following that was Pinky Sanchez. And the less said about Pinky Sanchez, the better. Oh my gosh.
Pinky is unique. We'd never seen him before. It was very unique.
Pinky is every Catholic school teacher's worst nightmare. Who won in his match against Solo Darling. Following that was a tag team match of Pretty Proper, which is Lady Frost and Victor Benjamin, going against Bear Country. And I'm sorry, when I saw what this was going to be and who was going against whom, I was seriously like, oh no. I was like, except they ended up beating Bear Country. Pretty Proper actually won, which I was really surprised at that because Bear Country are a bunch of real huge dudes, and Victor Benjamin's an impressive looking guy, and Lady Frost is an amazing wrestler.
She is skilled, yeah.
I mean, she totally ripped off Emma Frost's look, but but if you're going to rip off somebody's look, might as well be Emma Frost. Yeah. Why not? And I'm sure she's a better actress than the person that played her in. Now, you know what? We're gonna just
person that played her in what?
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I don't remember who played her.
January Jones.
Was that January Jones? Is that supposed to be Emma Frost?
Yeah.
So she played her in First Class too, didn't she?
Yeah, First Class. That's the one I meant. First Class. Yeah.
Because I was to say Finola Hughes played her in the Generation X pilot.
Yeah. Can we not talk about that?
The less said, the better. Yeah.
Next was Alley Cat going against Slade. Okay.
Alley Cat rocks.
Alley Cat rocks. We love Alley Cat.
She rocks as an announcer. She rocks as everything.
We do. We love Alley Cat. We love Alley Cat very, very, very much. Slade is wow. You know how there's certain people, if you saw them walking down the street, you'd go to the other side of the street?
Slade is what you get if one of the guys from Right Said Fred had a bad temper.
Sorry, The next match was a mixed tag match with the team of Injustice, Myron Reed, and Jordan Oliver, going against Culture Season, which is SZN, which is the team of Christian Casanova and Tasha Steeles, with Injustice going over them.
Gotta say, Injustice, huge popularity in the Major League. Mm-hmm. And Jordan Oliver is just terrific. Myron Reed is great too. But what was her name? Tasha
Steeles.
She is freaking awesome.
She is. Christian Casanova is really
Myron
good
tried
too.
up several times, and it was really great.
Yeah, she's really good and really real. This is the first time I've seen her, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, me too.
Joey Janela was in the following match, the bad boy of wrestling, taking on Kimber Lee. No relation. Just had to get that out there because there is no friggin' way in hell I would get in a ring with Joey Janela. I love you, Joey.
You're not Kimberly. You're Kimber. You're Kim.
Yeah.
You're not real.
No, I know.
I put my own joke there. That's good.
Yes,
okay.
You did. You wrecked your own joke.
Yes,
good job. This is why we get paid the big bucks, folks.
Ha!
And somebody out there is
you're paying me for this? How much am I getting?
We'll discuss it later.
Okay.
Joey wound up winning that match against Kimber, and the Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson, going against Priscilla Kelly. Oh, wow. This was... Sweet Maria, this match was complete madness. And Chris Dickinson was he was the winner of that match. He got on the mic afterwards and said that, she gave him a hell of a fight, and he was very respectful. And it was, this show, I would give this show, if I was grading it, I'd definitely say like 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Really?
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to grade everything, but that was just wanted to throw that out there.
It was a great show.
It was and every match was an intergender match.
Yeah.
Which I was like, some people would be like, this isn't real. Like this isn't a real wrestling show and all that stuff like that. To people like that, fuck you. And finally,
why wouldn't they say it was real? That's just stupid.
Well, their whole thing is unless it's their way, it's not a proper wrestling match.
We don't care what Corny says anyway.
No, I didn't mean him specifically. I'm just saying that some people have that attitude. I'm not going to single somebody out and shit on them for,
Okay, fair enough. He actually is okay with that stuff, so.
Yeah. He should be. He's been in a couple.
I know.
There was a feud back in the day where Baby Doll kicked his ass pretty much every other week for a while. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, on last Sunday was Game Changer Wrestling. We had Jimmy Lloyd's Jersey Shore. No sign of Snooki. Which was
the situation.
Or the situation. And we should all get down on our hands and knees and thank whichever deity you pray to that happened. Also coming from the Garden Pier in New Jersey. This show actually had more problems with the weather than the previous show.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
We actually had the guys having to wipe off the lens with rain and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's... oops. First match was Cole Raddick beating A.R. Fox. The next match was, again, the Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson, taking on Lee Moriarty. Dickinson getting the win there. Following that was Blake Christian taking on Andrew Everett. Again, one of those things where you're going, how do these people do this? These people are like real-life superheroes. It's complete lunacy.
Yeah, I didn't know Andrew Everett before the show. He was really good.
Mm-hmm. Next was a death match. 2 words that just, Christmas comes early when I hear those words.
Her eyes light up every time.
They do. It's like, look, some women collect Jimmy Choos. I collect death matches.
You think Andy Williams was singing "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year" every time one of those comes on?
Everybody needs a hobby. All my teachers from school would be going, I knew it. I knew there was something about that one. With AJ Gray going against Lucky 13, who came to the ring with a young lady named Kelsey, whom apparently he had met the night before at an adult entertainment establishment. She was a stripper. She didn't stay with him for very long because I guess he ran out of dollar bills. I don't know. This being a death match went everywhere, and involved everything. So, of course, I was happy as hell. AJ Gray wound up winning that. And following that was the tag team match with KTB and Sean Mercer going against Injustice, the team of Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed. At least Jordan brought his headband.
Yeah, he wore his little do-rag this time. He didn't wear it at the Beyond show.
Yeah. Still had
Jordan is packed on. If you haven't seen him, they've been hyping it a lot. Jordan's packed on about 30 pounds of muscle.
Yeah,
during
and
the
solid
COVID,
muscle too. Yeah.
He used to be this skinny reed of a guy, and I mean he's barely 21. He just turned 21 a couple months ago. He is it's just amazing. Yeah.
It was, and he looks fantastic. I mean,
we knew he turned 21. He wouldn't let you forget it with the 60-day countdown to his birthday.
Turning 21 is it's a milestone.
Logan didn't do that.
No. I mean,
Logan
it also
turned 21 last month.
It also means something very important. It means you're legal.
Yeah, it does.
I just got to say real quick, KTB, I said this to you. KTB looks like the type of person that would, have built a log cabin out in the woods with their bare hands and, be sitting out there draped in animal furs of things that he probably killed with his bare hands. Holding
KTB is the modern day equivalent of Sandman.
You think?
Yeah. He's nuts. He'll do whatever it takes. He doesn't give a shit about the rules.
No, but there is a big difference in the fact that I think he's sober.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that drunk because I have a feeling that's not a happy drunk at all. But KTB and Shane Mercer wound up beating the team of Injustice, even though I'm still pissed off at Shane Mercer for beating the crap out of Logan Stunt. Some of us have long memories.
Back a couple years,
Some of us have long memories, which is why some of us still
By
don't
the
like...
way, we were under the impression Logan was going to be on the card at one of these, and no, it turns out he and Mama and Papa were just in the audience.
Yeah. But that's great. We hope they have a
It
good
is,
time.
yeah, it's great. But I'd hope to see him because I love watching Logan. He's great.
Some of us have really long memories. That's why some of us still can't stand Tully Blanchard.
Here we go.
No. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just there it lays.
Today's generation is going, what's she talking about?
Well, learn things. Anyway, following that was a death match. Again, it's the most wonderful time.
Oh, jeez. They created a monster.
I'm not crazy. I'm just a little unwell. With Jimmy...
You're a lot unwell.
Oh, you say the sweetest things, Puddin'. With Jimmy Lloyd going against Elena Black. And did you know Jimmy Lloyd vapes?
Huh?
No, I'm just saying that because the announcers brought it up 9,500 times during this match, how Jimmy Lloyd likes to vape. He wound up beating Elena Black in a match that was completely insane and awesome and wonderful and bloody, and I enjoy stuff like that, and oh my god, I need help. Following that was a match with Pinky Sanchez going against Effie, which I was like, okay, So Effie fights a vampire yesterday, and today fights somebody that
Satan's son
may or may not be the devil. Okay, can we get Effie on one of the last episodes of Supernatural? Just
it's too late, I think.
Damn it, shit, that would have been great. With
is the Winchester cousin?
I guess I don't know. Yeah. They've already had a brother they didn't know about show up, so we can't do that. Pinky Sanchez wound up winning that match. It was a great match, don't get me wrong. Because where else in wrestling are you going to have a kiss-off during a match? And I don't mean kiss-off as in fuck you.
No,
I mean
were literally kissing each other
Kissing
off.
each other to see who was going to stop it? I don't know. It's like, oh my god, what am I watching and why am I enjoying it? Oh, who cares? And the final match of the evening was Joey Janela going against Alex Zane, which we knew was going to be an incredible match, although I'm sitting... Oh, you listen to that laugh, but I'm the sadist. Okay. Alrighty. I was just sitting there going, Joey, please don't jump off the pole again. Like last month.
Where's the pole?
Private joke.
Wipeout joke. Anyway.
That was insane last month.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. That was one of those what is going on moments. Joey wound up winning that match. So, I mean, we watched 4 shows last
We didn't talk much about that last month either, but Joey Janela Leo Rush match was just insane.
Oh my gosh, that was completely
I can't
lunacy.
believe Leo seriously about getting out.
And again, I want to say to everybody at Beyond and also Game Changer, everyone was super, careful about keeping the workers safe, keeping the fans safe. Everyone's doing cleaning in between the matches. Masking, social distancing, everything like that. So kudos to everybody from...
Every show we've seen recently has done that.
All those shows.
St. Louis Arnaky's done it, and VLP, and they all take good care trying to keep the wrestlers well and the audience well. Yeah,
because we're all in this together. We got to try something. We got to try to get back to something like normality, whatever that is, because I have no idea, because I've never... I don't know what normality is.
We've had our AEW tickets postponed twice now.
Yeah.
We were originally supposed to see them in April, and they got postponed to August. Now it's postponed to next April.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they still aren't opening a lot of the large venues in town.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see our Drew Lynch tickets either get canceled or bumped, which is coming in October.
And the town we live in is one of the highest
one
in
of the top 3 hotspots in Mass right now.
Yeah. So we're doing great.
We're doing fine.
Well, we're doing
fine.
We're coping. Everybody's coping.
Yeah.
Everybody, that's all you can do.
We work from home and stay in. We have our groceries delivered.
That's all you can do is
meds
cope,
delivered. It's just like, what are you going to do?
Cope or lock yourself in the bathroom forever.
I run over to Dairy Mart every now and then for donuts.
You got to just kind of look at it, and you got to find it something fun. That's the important thing, that wrestling's back. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to all of you. Guys and ladies out there and everybody that works so hard and puts yourself in these crazy situations so we can enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
And you don't get enough thanks, so thank you so much. And if you do not subscribe to IWTV, why the fuck not?
It's $10 a month and it's worth it. You got over almost 200 feds putting up their programming on a regular basis. You do have to, Game Changer's a little stingy. They do some live stuff on IWTV and other stuff they do for money over on Fight TV.
Right.
But when they do charge, you usually get 2 shows for $13.99, and it's 100% worth it.
100%.
Way better than paying $60 for WWE stuff.
Yeah.
Or $49 or whatever AEW is paying for it, although at least there you get a good show.
At least on AEW you get a good show.
Yeah,
you don't feel like
AEW's pay-per-view's coming up next weekend.
Yep, next Saturday. So that is going to do it for another show here, Cats and Kittens, on Ring Around the Rosie. If you have any questions, comments, queries, complaints, anything else you want to send my way, platinumroselle@yahoo.com. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I will hope you will do so. I'm platinumroselle@twitter.com. And if you'd like to follow TC, who does some really terrific work, you can follow him as well at...
I'm at ecinema1.com, ecinema1 on Twitter, Popcorn and Roses on Facebook.
Yep.
And you can catch my stuff over on YouTube at TKR Video Central. It's vinyl records and stuff.
And we have a whole bunch of other shows that are part of our little island of misfit toys that you can check out if you're so inclined.
Well, we normally do. A lot of them are down right now.
Well, you can go back and listen to
older stuff.
Yeah,
but Subject Cinema is down. We had a captive audience theater. We're going to probably do some more of those this week. Haven't done them this month because we've been having we've been remodeling the office a little bit.
Yep.
And Subject Cinema will be back hopefully in September or October now that movies are coming back to theaters, and which we won't be going to. But and I'm not paying $20 to see Bill and Ted. I don't care. I want to see it, but I'll wait till it drops.
Right.
But
we have all these shows. Like they're not. Some of them are older shows, but you can just definitely take a listen to them.
Listen to all the old shows. Subject Cinema, Front Row 5 and 10. Although that won't work with Tuesday Digidex and 3 Minute Weekend. Those are release shows, and they're out every week still.
Right.
3 Minute Weekend just came back yesterday. So.
And if you'd like to also check out, I have a YouTube channel for
Platinum Rose Roleplay.
Yeah, I do.
Platinum Rose Roleplay. She's awesome.
Oh, he's so nice. I don't have a lot there, but there's a few things there that I wrote myself.
She is awesome. She wrote all of them herself. She recorded all of them herself. All I did was add the music and edits.
Yeah. So that is going to do it here for another week here on Platinum. I'm sorry. I'm doing that now.
Oh, now you are. I'm sorry.
On Ring Around the Rosie. And I'm from the bottom of my heart, I hope everyone out there has a terrific week. Stay safe. Call your grandma. And make
Damn
sure...
you, John Moxley. Honestly.
Renee, when are you coming to AEW? Please make it soon. And just a quick reminder to take some time and stop and smell the roses and be safe. I love you all.
You have been listening to Ring Around the Rosie with Kim Brown, a production of PNR Networks. Keep in touch with all things about the show at http://ringaroundtherosie.net. Ring Around the Rosie intro performed by Eric Lyon. Ring Around the Rosie theme by Digital Juice. Join Kim for a new Ring Around the Rosie every Wednesday. Ring Around the Rosie is copyright 2018 PNR Networks, Boston, Massachusetts, USA.
15 years, blowing the doors off the competition, podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com